I am black, O daughters of Jerusalem, but comely as the tents of Kedar and as the curtains of Solomon. Regard ye me not because I am black, for the sun hath looked upon me. The sons of my mother were angry against me. They made me the keeper of the vines, but I kept not my own vine. Song of Solomon 2 verses 4 through 5 from the 1599 Geneva Bible. Thanks for tuning in to Misstory. Welcome back. We are exploring the harmony of heritage, unveiling Indigenous Israelite and West Indian roots.
We're Indigenous Israelites, black.
Give thanks. And here, as I mentioned in my prior video, the original people of the planet were from Africa. We have remains of hominins from 315,000 years ago in Jebel Arud, Morocco, 233,000 years ago in East Africa, and anatomically modern humans in Emran, Israel. They came from Africa, the Nubian-Arabian complex, as well as the Manot Cave in Galilee, again, African hominins related to West Africans, as well as early Eastern Europeans from the Czech Republic, who were in fact West Africans. Early West Africans, and you can check out my earlier videos for more of an explanation on these early migrations from the continent of Africa to Israel, Canaan, the Holy Land. Each of these beings, cultures, peoples were black. And I know this because
at those times
only black people existed.
Just wanted to take this opportunity to let you know that you can purchase the Israelite Samaritan version of the Torah and the 1599 Geneva and other versions of the Bible predating the 1611 King James Version using the link below to Amazon, with which we are affiliated. Thank you. Now back to the cast.
And I'd like to read for you briefly How Europeans Evolved White Skin from Science Magazine, April 2nd, 2015, by Anne Gibbons. And I quote, "The modern humans who came out of Africa to originally settle Europe about 40,000 years, are presumed to have had dark skin, which is advantageous in sunny latitudes. And the new data confirm that about 8,500 years ago, early hunter-gatherers in Spain, Luxembourg, and Hungary also had darker skin. They lacked versions of two genes, SLC24A5 and SLC45A2, that led to depigmentation and therefore pale-skinned Europeans today. But in the far north, where low light levels would favor pale skin, the team found a different picture in hunter-gatherers. 7 people from the 7,700-year-old Matola archaeological site in southern Sweden had both light skin gene variants, SLC24A5 and SLC45A2. They also had a third gene, HERC2OCA2, which causes blue eyes and may also contribute to light skin blonde hair. Thus, ancient hunter-gatherers of the far north were already pale and blue-eyed, but those of Central and Southern Europe had darker skin. Then the first farmers from the Near East arrived in Europe. They carried both genes for light skin. As they interbred with the indigenous hunter-gatherers, one of their light skin genes swept through Europe, so that Central and Southern Europeans also began to have lighter skin. The other gene variant, SLC45A2, was at low levels until about 5,800 years ago, when it swept up to high frequency. So essentially what we are learning from this is that there are specific genes that contribute to lighter skin, and in the absence of those genes, people have dark skin. I would like to share with you another article, Why Are Europeans White? A Genetic Study, dated the 16th of November 2018 by Gayendranath Mitra from the Pioneer. And I quote, "An international team of researchers examined genomes of 83 ancient individuals from archaeological sites of Europe and concluded that the Europeans today are a mix of at least 3 races of population who migrated to Europe in separate conglomerates over the past 8,000 years. According to Anne Gibbons, the modern Europeans do not look much like the early settlers. The early hunter-gatherers of Spain, Hungary, and Luxembourg had darker skins. The modern Europeans have 2 fairness skin genes, SLAC24A5 and SLC45A2, which lead to depigmentation and pale skins. When farmers from Near East arrived in Europe 7,800 years ago, they transferred their fairness skin gene SLC24A5 to the Europeans through interbreeding. About 1,500 years ago, the other fairness gene SLC45A2 was also transferred, and it spread throughout Europe. About 4,500 years ago, massive migration took place from the steppes north of the Black Sea. These people brought the Indo-European language to Europe. The early settlers could not digest milk, specifically the milk sugar lactose, since they did not have the LCT gene, which enables humans to digest milk. They acquired this gene about 4,300 years ago, and it spread quickly around Europe. The people inhabiting the northern Europe, which receives less light, had fairer skins. The DNA of 7 people living in Motala archaeological site 7,700 years ago in southern Sweden had 2 gene variants, SLC24A5 and SLC45A2, which causes white skins. They also had a 3rd gene, HERC2-OCR2, which caused blue eyes and fair skin. Exclusively of Europeans not to intermingle with colored races for generations has preserved their genetic integrity and skin color." That's the end quote of that article. Not sure why it is that way. Let me read that again, that last sentence. "Exclusivity of Europeans not to intermingle with colored races for generations has preserved their genetic integrity and skin color." Well, that's what it says at the end. And I was reading again from the Pioneer. So essentially what we have here is over many decades of human evolution. We have first hominins in Africa moving to Israel, the Levant, and 7,700 years ago we started to have more of a mutation towards lighter skin. And based on the latest archaeological evidence, white people, as in lighter skinned people, come from black people. And where there are black people, there likely will also be white people and people of different races, as we all derive from one source. And here again, we see the harmony between the heritage of the indigenous Israelites and the West Indians. Thanks to our human ancestors that have blessed us with this wonderful array of humanity to love and to live with. Were the original people of Judea black? Yes. Were the Israelites, as in descendants of Yaakov, black? Some were, and some were not. And I read from the Jewish Women's Archive, Shulamite, by Chana Block. And I quote, "The Shulamite calls herself black and beautiful. This is apparently a reference to her sun-burned skin. According to her poetic phrase, the sun has gazed on me." The Shulamite, from Hebrew Shulamit, woman of Jerusalem, is the central figure in the Song of Solomon, also called Song of Songs of Canticles, and one of the most positive representations of young womanhood in the Hebrew Bible. As the embodiment of erotic pleasure, innocent and savored for its own sake, she is to be contrasted on the one hand with the wily seductress of Proverbs 7, whose sexuality is insidious and destructive, and on the other with figures such as Tamar and Ruth, whose sexual boldness is in the service of perpetuating the family line. In the Shulamite, indeed, we find one of the most unqualified celebrations of female eroticism in all of Western literature. Like her lover, the Shulamite is not given a proper name. The epithet, the Shulamite, which occurs twice in only one verse of the song, 6:13, and nowhere else in the Bible, is of uncertain meaning. Medieval Jewish exegetes, such as Ibn Ezra, understood the word as the Jerusalemite, a feminine epithet derived from Salem, Hebrew Shalem, an ancient poetic name for Jerusalem. Jerusalem. Shalom. Give thanks.
Check out our Patreon page for patron privileges at patreon.com/WisTribe. Are you tired of working that 9 to 5? Gotta scrimp and save just to survive? Come get the tools you deserve to thrive when you decide to take the dive into the pursuit of your own bliss. Come learn how to start a business. For the book or the course, you just need to go to the website linked below. All brought to you care of Online Pro. CUSH Cash Consulting is sure to result in your dreams coming alive as wealth multiplies for our scholars and investors. Come deal with the best of our budding entrepreneurs. Contact us to learn more at CUSH Cash Consulting. Email Morrison at cushcashconsulting.com and sign up for classes using the linked form. Give thanks.